Hey, welcome to the Strong Roots podcast. My name is Kristen Hill, and we are so excited that you're tuning in today. Our prayer is that you would move one step closer to Jesus through this series. So go ahead and check out this next episode. Hey, Strong Roots, we are in our winter blues season, and I'm here with Keri, and I am so excited to talk with her and pick her brain. She's actually in the medical field, so not only does she have personal experience with winter blues, but also she is dealing with this all the time.
Right.
So just right off the bat, have you seen this be a struggle that has increased over the years?
Absolutely, and I think right now with just the pandemic going on, which has really isolated people from their family, their loved ones, their friends. Kids aren't able to do a lot of the activities that they were involved in before, or if they are able to participate, it's changed. It's so different. It's not so hands-on.
Yeah.
So certainly, I think that especially this last year we've seen it skyrocket. I mean, a lot of patients that didn't normally struggle with it are, seeing a big increase with it, and they're like, what can I do? Why is this happening? And, we're just letting them know it's very natural. It's something that, people have seasons of it, and that's okay. That's okay, and there's things we can do to kind of work through it.
What do you recommend?
So definitely exercise, talking to people, trying to eat right. Those are simple things, right? Well, eating right, some people are like, well, it's more expensive to eat right, and which is true. Fresh fruits and vegetables are hard to a little bit more expensive to buy, and they're not all in season. But trying to incorporate those vitamins. Even, my Christian patients, I try to get them involved in like doing a daily devotional or finding one that specifically focuses on mood and depression or their certain situation that they're in, whether it's divorce or, losing their job, those kind of things. Prayer. I pray for my patients, the morning. I may not know everybody that's going to be on my list, but I pray that God will open my ears so I can hear them, and my eyes so I can, see what's going on, even if they're not willing or not ready to kind of express that.
Right.
So that's one thing that I do. But exercise, I think, is a big thing, and also your relationship with God. I think, trying to maybe strengthen that if you weren't somebody that did a daily devotional before, or even start off with a weekly one.
Yes.
But I think community is a big thing. So reaching out to others, maybe not even that you feel are going through the same thing, but somebody that you can just talk to and open up to, and that you feel you're going to get some good feedback from, or they can help, reassure you, this is just a season. We're going to get through it. Everything's going to be better.
Absolutely. Now, your mom, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
You're married. Yes. And I know that not only, your daughters are teenagers.
Yeah, 3.
So we're talking about winter blues, but also there's, let's just say, hormonal blues.
For sure.
I'm curious as a mom with 3 daughters myself, how do you even navigate that with your kids?
Oh, it's hard. Some days I think all 4 of us cry because it's just a lot. And it's not necessarily because of what somebody said. It's just because of just hormones.
Yeah.
True. And I think with it being winter, that they can't get out and do things. And it's fun. Sometimes I want to go hide in the basement, but get away from it all. But that's not the answer either. So just sitting down with my girls and talking with them, we have a very open relationship, probably more open than sometimes I want it to be. But I'm very blessed with that. They come to me with a lot of little concerns if they're having a little tiff with one of their friends. Mom, what do I do? Or they don't always understand why they're, this friend, they're not getting along with them so well. I'm like, well, what happened? And sometimes I can navigate tone. We're learning about the tone of what you say. It's not always exactly, the words, but the tone you use.
Right.
And that's a big thing of it. But hormonal girls, that's a fun little challenge.
Absolutely. How did you raise them in a way that made them want to come to you with that kind of stuff?
Well, I think a lot of asking questions, even when they were really little, like, how's your day? What's going on? Or, if you could just see that one was struggling or upset with their sisters, and they thought that, the other two were bullying them, or, they're not including me type of thing, sit down and talk with them and tell them. I always told them that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. You're allowed to have your feelings, but sometimes we have to look at it from other perspectives. So I'm always pointing out the other sister's point of view, or, maybe where she's coming from. You might not have understood what happened earlier, so why she's a little testy today, or a little easy to cry, that type of thing. But, and having them involved in church, ever since they were very little, they've always grown up in church. So, Sunday school, that kind of thing. We have a lot. Music is a huge thing with my family, and my girls all enjoy, worship music just as much as I do. So that's a big part of things too.
Oh, that's so good. So you're saying open communication, and I feel like when it comes to winter blues, depression, feelings, how important is it in your mind for people who are struggling to actually confess it and have open communication with other people?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge, because I feel like if you don't express it, or if you don't tell anybody, and you feel like you have to put up this front, or that you have to, try to be something that you're not, or try to feel something that you're not, it just makes that depression or that sadness just worse, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting not being yourself. Oh, yeah. And so, often I'll find, even with my patients, that, once the doors close, they feel like, okay, now I can open up and communicate it. I may not be able to tell my friends. I may not be able to tell my family, but I can tell you. And, even if it's not with a provider, but finding somebody that you can express that with and just be yourself and let them know what you're feeling. And I think it's okay. It's okay to feel that, and expressing it and letting somebody else know. I think that's one way to just start feeling better about yourself. If you're suppressing it so much, I truly think that makes it so much worse, because you're not being true to yourself.
Absolutely. So being in your profession and talking to so many people with different issues and different struggles, how has that changed your perspective on pain? Because I feel like there's probably nothing you haven't thought, done, or heard. No. Is that true?
Well, I wouldn't say probably nothing, because every time I think I've heard it all, I will hear something new. So you're asking about pain,
and depression, and just like how has that just expanded your knowledge and understanding?
I think they go hand in hand. There's that emotional side of depression, and emotional side of pain, but physical pain too. I mean, that can really cause a huge depression. And a few years ago, I myself had to have back surgery, and that really enlightened me to how much pain can totally affect your mood, totally affect your outlook. And I will say, I was a little down in the dumps with that. I mean, I wasn't even 40 yet, and I had a back surgery. I was walking with a walker. Felt like a grandma. I mean, I thought, what's going on here? Things that I, took for granted before. I couldn't do, just moving the clothes from the washer to the dryer. I couldn't do that for a while. So that, physical pain, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that they can find an answer for. I have patients that struggle with chronic pain, but there's no actual injury, or they don't know what caused it. It was just like one day, it's just kind of gradually gotten worse, and we can't find the answers, and that's so frustrating for us. And I can't imagine being that patient. Sometimes I think that's got to be rather lonely, and you wonder how can tomorrow be better than today if we don't have any answers. But I think, having that faith in Jesus and looking towards him, and, letting him know, I need you. I can't do this on my own. Help us find a new treatment. Help, me to feel comfort. Those types of things, not just medicinal. I mean, of course, there's always pain medications or different therapies, but I truly think that having Jesus at the core can just help, in the long run, or help I don't even know what the word is.
Help you advance.
Yes,
overcome.
Exactly.
So off of that, have you seen a difference in your patients, ones who are Christians and one who are not?
Yes, for sure. I think that some have, there's definitely hope.
Yeah.
Others may feel like there's no hope. There's nothing. I have no joy. I have, I have nobody. And that's one thing as a Christian. Jesus is always there. God's always there. He hears you. He sees you. He knows everything. Even your deepest, darkest secrets. He's aware of. So there's nothing that you have done or you could do that is withheld from him. He knows it all. So I think as Christians, knowing that you're allowed to express that side of you of I need somebody else. I have to rely on somebody else. And if you put that onto Jesus, how much more hope can you? That offers so much more hope as opposed to somebody who I have no family, I have no friends, I don't have a job, I can't work, I can't. That's going to cause such a downward spiral. And, there's no medicine that's going to help that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Now, being somebody who is walking people through this, what would you say to somebody who is listening that maybe they're not experiencing like you? You've told me that you've had moments of depression, but it's not something you've struggled with your whole life. How do you lovingly walk someone through it? Like, what advice would you give? And
that's hard. That's hard when you haven't, I've had episodes of it, but it's never been so deep down, all-consuming like some of my patients, express. You just try to tell them that, I'll listen, offering them a listening ear, offering them, each day is a new day. Yeah. You make the best of what you have today, and tomorrow hopefully will be better. And just trying to encourage is the biggest thing. And taking it one day at a time. And some people you just have to tell them, take it an hour at a time. Try not to get in that vicious downward cycle, but try to take it step by step, day by day. And if you need to take a minute and be like, okay, I've got to reset and try to refocus. Yeah. That's what you do.
Absolutely. Do you have any favorite devotionals or things that you read or?
So my mother, this book here, it's called A Book of Hope. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love it. So when my dad was getting real sick, actually church gave this to her, and it's so cute. Look at, so she gave it to me. So it says, given to me by church during Poppy, which is my dad, illness in 2020. I love this book so much. And so she's gone through it, and she's given it to me, and it's amazing. I love it. It's got so many just different, you talk about the why, you talk about death, you talk about miracles, you talk about finding joy, finding hope. It's got so many different little scriptures in there, and this book has been very encouraging to me as well as my mom.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And so if you could give people advice, maybe people are listening right now who they clicked on because they are really struggling, they're really down in the dumps, they're in a really dark place. If there's any advice that you'd give them, or any verse or thing to cling to, what would it be?
Well, mine is I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
I love that one.
Even when I was taking my boards for my nurse practitioner license, that was what I wrote on my little piece of paper that I could write anything down on, just to remind me that, you can. And my other piece of advice would be to reach out to somebody. Don't feel like you have to struggle alone. And I know, even if you don't know somebody that well, you just reach out to somebody. Right. There's always somebody that's willing to help. And if it's going to the doctor's office and, saying, okay, I'm struggling. Right. I'm struggling. And admitting that's huge. That's huge.
It's half the battle.
Absolutely.
And there's so much pressure. When there's things I've needed to confess, I feel like there's been so much pushing back. Don't do it. Don't tell them. They're going to think you're weirdo. Yeah, But there's so much freedom on the other side.
Absolutely. And don't feel like you have to be everything to everybody. And I know, for myself, I got my job. I'm a wife and I'm a mom, and I always don't want to let anybody down, but it's okay. Sometimes if you have to be like, you know what, I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it, or I need a minute.
Yes.
Or a day. It happens.
Or 2 days.
Right. Yes. Right. Why are you in the bathroom? Just give me a second. Give me a second.
I'm still in I see their fingertips underneath her.
I wish I could tell you that it changes. I think mine still wander in when I'm in it.
I believe it. Yes. Oh, thank you so much for your perspective. Thank you so much for your encouragement. I think that my biggest takeaways from this is be an encourager.
Yeah.
Be people's cheerleader. Be a safe place for people to be able to confess.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I feel like there's so much out there in our day and age of criticism, anger, judgment. And as Christians, I feel like we're able to be this refuge because God was first our refuge.
Yeah, and it's okay to not be okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
I love that song. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know who sings it, but there's a song that's like, it's okay not to be okay. It's on Christian radio. So
okay, I'll have to look it up.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that this encouraged you. And again, if you're looking for a great devotional, that Book of Hope by Nancy Gunther. 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 There we go. Third time's a charm. Is fantastic. I've read it as well.
Yeah, that's good.
So yes, and I cannot wait to catch you next time. Bye, Strong Roots. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. We don't want you to miss out on any future content. Thank you so much again, guys. I hope you have a great day. And I want you to know I am personally praying that your roots stay strong.